It's a bit of a sad situation, but the original plan had been to get Juan Francisco Estrada, El Gallo, over to Japan and finish what has been a very good 2023 with a tremendous unification at 115 pounds. For me, super flyweight has been the best division in boxing for many years. Over the last 12 months, admittedly, it has slowed. Estrada and Chocolatito, though both older, of course, even Choco, he's still a key player, but the big fights aren't happening as frequently as they usually did. And now Kazuto Ioka, carrying on with this classic tradition of fighting on New Year's Eve that goes all the way back to 2011. I think he's only missed 2017 in this huge streak. He is unfortunately replacing the prospect of having a showdown with Estrada with Venezuelan Josber Perez. Just who is Josber Perez? Well, he's not in the top 10. He's not in the top 20. He might even be out of the top 50. So we basically have a mismatch on paper here. The only saving grace is that Ioka is fighting twice this year instead of just once. And so we get to see this real smooth operator in action again. Really is good to watch. The way he moves, the economy, the punch selection, most of the weight on the front foot. He has got that rare polish to him that if you're a fan of the sport, if you're a fan of the noble art, you can just sit back and enjoy. Good as he is, though, being 34, having had a long career, and of course being a champion out in 4 weights, you're not going to have too much mileage left as a smaller guy. It puts more pressure on the question, when are we going to get one of the big send-off fights? The possibility of Roman Gonzalez has been there in the past. They shared the same weight, they never fought. Then we were supposed to have Estrada, it's fallen through. Ioka, while having had a tremendous career, the last real big fight he had was probably Tanaka, but he needs his blockbuster before he really loses his edge. Of course, one of the big selling points of these low weight divisions is that when there is a big fight to be made, it generally gets made. There's not too much waiting around. Maybe Estrada felt he was being a little bit lowballed with the offers, and that's why negotiations fell through. Hopefully they can be picked up again soon, because if they do get round to fighting, we don't want it to be quite a bit down the line where we're just looking at some imitation of what should have been. Nonetheless, along with Kenshiro Teraji and Naoya Inoue, Ioka is one of the top Japanese fighters in the world right now. You'd have to say top 3. As I said, watching him is a pleasure. He has got a tremendous resume that probably deserves a little bit more respect. Of the losses he's had, only one hasn't been avenged, and I'm not so sure he actually deserved to lose that first fight against Donny Nietes. He's just such an accomplished professional, cool as ice, and was very good last time in getting the W over the now retired Joshua Franco. I suppose looking at the positive side of things, 2023 is going to be ending with a bang inside the ring, as well as many bangs across the world. Ioka is very probably going to be taking out Perez, who is a huge underdog, who has, only won some national titles as a pro? Seems like he's lost every time he's tried to step up. Only a few years ago he was fighting a debutant, and really the losing records, while not always fully instructive, the losing records of his most recent opponents are pretty poor. Ioka may decide to give the fans a little bit more for their money, to go a little bit easy on Perez, to move around the ring a bit more, showboat a little bit. He is, of course, going to be fighting just a few days after Naoya Inoue is probably going to have produced another sensational knockout, so he's got to do his part to try and capture some of the public's imagination. In any event, is it even worth asking how you see this fight going? Perez is the proverbial lamb to the slaughter, and the question we'll probably be asking ourselves when the writing's on the wall, when Ioka is about to lower the boom, is just when is going to be his next big fight. If it's not Estrada for the belt, which of course has the most prestige, makes the most sense, the Mexican is the number one at the moment at 115, even if it was Chocolatito without the belt, I'd still happily have that fight. I think Choco showed that in his comeback, that his form didn't just dive off a cliff. And I think it's going to be the same with Ioka, though perhaps not quite at his Tanaka best right now, getting older, starting to just lose the reflexes a little. Such a consummate fighter, he's still brilliant to watch. Let's get those big fights made. Let's get super flyweight back up to that incomparable standard.